Does your cat choose you? Your exact chair? Your side of the bed? The spot right behind your knees? Even when the rest of the house is wide open. Most people take that as a sweet habit. But what if it isn't a habit at all? What if every single time your cat chooses you over every other option, they're telling you something most owners never stop to hear? Because the signals your cat sends when you've become their safe place are specific, deliberate, and incredibly easy to miss. And the moment you start missing them, you stop being able to give your cat what they actually need from you. Let's start with the one that happens in plain sight, and almost no one recognizes for what it is. 1. They stop hiding when you walk in. Have you ever noticed that your cat, who spent the entire afternoon tucked behind the couch or wedged under the bed, appears the moment you come home? Not to eat, not to meow at you, just to be in the same room? Most people assume this is routine. The cat hears the door. They're trained to expect food or activity. It's just a pattern they've learned. But here's what's really happening. Cats are hardwired to conceal themselves when they feel uncertain. Hiding isn't shyness, it's survival. Every instinct a cat carries tells them that an exposed position is a dangerous one. So when a cat chooses to come out of cover the moment a specific person enters the room, they aren't following a schedule. They're making a calculation. They've assessed the environment, decided something changed, and determined that the change is safe. That change is you. Research into feline stress responses consistently shows that cats in uncertain or unfamiliar environments spend significantly more time in elevated or concealed positions. The decision to leave cover is never passive. Behavioral scientists describe a trusted person functioning as what some researchers call a social buffer, a presence that lowers the perceived threat level of the entire environment just by being in it. Your cat doesn't come out because the room changed. Your cat comes out because you made the room different. That's not your cat being social. That's your cat saying the room just became safe enough to exist in, because you're in it. And later in this video, we're going to look at what happens to your cat's body, physically and measurably, when you're present versus when you're not. The science behind it is something most owners never hear. And once you do, the way you understand your cat will never quite be the same. 2. They slow blink at you without waiting for you to start. Have you ever caught your cat watching you from across the room? Not tensely, not alertly, just watching, and then seen their eyes close slowly, all on their own, before you did anything at all? Most people know the slow blink as a response. You blink at your cat, they blink back, and that means they're comfortable. That's the version most owners have heard. But what almost nobody talks about is the unprompted version. And here's what most people don't realize. When your cat initiates the slow blink, when they offer it to you without any cue from you, that's something else entirely. A slow blink requires your cat to close their eyes in front of another living being. It means lowering every defense they have for a full second, voluntarily, in the presence of something they could perceive as a threat. When they do it first, without invitation, they aren't responding to your signal. They're sending one. Researchers studying cat communication found that the slow blink functions as an intentional affiliative signal, a deliberate act of non-threatening connection that cats distinguish from the fixed, unblinking stare they use in confrontational moments. The same research found that cats who received slow blinks showed measurably reduced tension and were more likely to approach. But the cats who initiated them first were doing something even more specific. They were choosing to go vulnerable in a direction they'd already decided was worth the risk. That's not your cat being drowsy. That's your cat making you the one being, in their world, they've decided is worth closing their eyes for. And hey, if this is changing the way you see your cat right now, hit that like button and subscribe. That's how we get these videos to more cat owners who want to understand their cat the right way. 3. They bring their whole body into contact with yours. Has your cat ever climbed onto your lap, settled in, and then kept shifting, pressing a little harder, wedging a little closer, until they were fully against you, not just near you? Most people read this as warmth seeking. Cats like heat. You're warm. The math is simple. But here's what most people don't realize. Cats are remarkably capable of finding warmth on their own. Windowsills, appliances, sun patches on the floor. A cold cat has options everywhere. What they don't always have is a source of warmth they've also classified as emotionally secure. Full body contact isn't just thermoregulation. It's something far more deliberate. Cats have scent glands distributed along their cheeks, flanks, and the base of their tail. When a cat presses the full length of their body against yours, they're depositing scent from multiple sites at once. In bonded feline colonies, this kind of contact is reserved for individuals within the same inner circle. It's how cats, without a single sound, declare that two beings belong to the same world. Behavioral research into feline scent marking confirms that full lateral contact, the whole body press, represents a higher investment bonding behavior than simple facial rubbing alone. Cats use it selectively, specifically with individuals they've granted the highest level of social trust. And here's where it gets even deeper. The same behavior shows up between bonded cats who've been separated and reunited. It isn't random closeness. It's a reassertion of connection. That's not your cat using you for warmth. That's your cat weaving their scent into yours and saying, without words, you and I are the same. 4. They expose their belly without asking you to touch it. Has your cat ever walked into the room, looked directly at you, and then flopped onto their back, stomach up, legs loose, completely open, and just stayed there? Most people see the belly and assume it's an invitation. They reach down, and then the cat swipes or pulls away, and the owner is left wondering what just happened. But here's what's really happening. A cat's belly is where every vital organ lives. In the wild, no cat exposes that area without an overwhelming sense of security. It is, anatomically, their most undefended position. When your cat rolls onto their back in front of you, they aren't asking to be touched. They're showing you something. There's a significant difference. They're communicating that in your presence. They don't need to shield themselves. Reaching in and rubbing that exposed belly doesn't honor that moment. It interrupts it. To your cat, it can feel like the vulnerability they just offered you was used against them. Behavioral researchers distinguish the feline ventral up position from similar postures in other animals. Unlike a dog's belly up stance, which often functions as a play invitation or appeasement signal, the cat version is consistently categorized as a comfort and security display, an indicator of how safe the animal feels in that moment, not a request for physical contact. The difference matters. That's not your cat asking for a belly rub. That's your cat handing you the most fragile part of themselves, not to be held, just to be witnessed. 5. They follow you into rooms they have no reason to enter. Have you ever gotten up to do something completely unremarkable? Fill a glass of water, stand in the kitchen for a few minutes, move from one room to the next, and looked down to find your cat sitting in the doorway, watching you, for no obvious reason? Most people assume this is neediness, an anxious cat, an animal who can't handle being alone. But here's what most people don't realize. Cats are among the most self-sufficient domestic animals that exist. They're not socially wired the way dogs are. They don't require company to feel regulated. So when a cat voluntarily leaves a comfortable spot to trail a person into a room with nothing in it, no food, no toy, no stimulation, they made a choice. And that choice has a name in the science of animal attachment. Researchers call it proximity maintenance. It's a pattern documented in securely attached social mammals, staying near an attachment figure, not because they're anxious, but because they prefer to. A landmark study on cat attachment found that the majority of cats tested showed what researchers call a secure attachment style with their owners, the same bonding architecture identified in studies of human infants and caregivers. One of its defining features is exactly this: voluntarily remaining near the attachment figure, not out of distress, but out of preference. Your cat isn't following you because something is wrong. They're following you because something is right. That's not a needy cat. That's a cat who has decided entirely on their own terms that wherever you are is where they'd rather be. 6. Their body physically changes the moment you walk in. And scientists proved it. Have you ever watched your cat in the moment you walked into the room? Not the greeting, not the movement toward you, but the split second before any of that. And notice something shift? Their ears softened, their shoulders dropped, their whole body just exhaled. Most people think they're imagining it. They chalk it up to coincidence. The cat was already relaxed. But here's what's really happening, and this is the thing we mentioned at the very beginning. What most owners never hear. What you're watching in that moment is your cat's nervous system responding to your presence the way it responds to nothing else in their world. Not a familiar room, not a comfortable perch, not even the smell of food. You. Specifically, you. In a study on cat attachment, researchers placed cats in an unfamiliar room with their owner, then separated them for 2 minutes, then brought the owner back. What they found was striking. More than 65% of the cats showed what researchers classified as a secure attachment response. When the owner returned, stress behaviors dropped. The cats began exploring. They sought brief contact and then moved on calmly. Without their owner, they were tense, vocal, and withdrawn. With their owner back, they regulated, quickly and measurably. The researchers described this as the secure base effect, the owner functioning not just as a source of affection, but as a biological anchor for the cat's entire stress response system. Think about what that means. Your scent, the specific sound of your footsteps, the way you move through a doorway. These things are woven into how your cat's body manages fear. Not symbolically, physiologically. Behavioral signs of stress reduced the moment you entered the room. Not the moment your cat was petted or fed. Just your presence. And here's where it gets even deeper. Think back to every behavior we covered in this video. The way your cat emerges from hiding the moment you arrive. The way they press the full length of their body against yours. The way they slow blink at you from across the room without any prompt. Eyes closing deliberately in the direction of someone they've decided is safe. The way they follow you into empty rooms for no reason anyone could explain as practical. None of it is coincidence. None of it is habit. Every single one of those behaviors is your cat's nervous system communicating the same thing in every language it has. You are the reason my body knows what safe feels like. That's not your cat being comfortable around you. That's your cat's entire nervous system reorganizing itself around the fact that you exist in their world. To your cat, you are not an owner. You are not the person who fills their bowl or opens their door. You are the reason their body knows what safe feels like. You are home.